Pleasant good morning. Pleasant good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. I am here once again. My friends, well, I have been asked about the missing TNT flag. I just want my friends and them to know. Some of my UNC friends, the TNT flag is back. All right? The flag is there. Trinidad and Tobago and Venezuela. That is just to let the people of Venezuela know that we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, are not their enemies. We have never been, and we are not the enemies of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. It so happened that there are persons in our government who have declared themselves to be the enemy of the government and the people of Trinidad and Tobago, led by a lady called Kamla Persad Bisesa, my friends. So the flag and them, what you see there, even though it have days, you might see the Venezuelan flag or even the Trini flag. That's what the flag is about, my friend. These two countries have been living side by side for centuries with no disruption, no threat of war, no threat of taking over anybody, property, anything. Until recently, our prime minister decided that she is not happy with the Venezuelan president, the president of Venezuela. In our parliament, she declared that she don't even recognize him, which I don't know if it is her place to recognize him. Even the United Nations declared that Nicolas Maduro is the president. They recognize him as the president of Venezuela, but our prime minister, the bright lady they call Kamala Persad Bisesa, and bright, big, and bold, and bad. I don't recognize he. Yeah, she doesn't recognize. So today, this morning, my friends, I have today's Guardian, page 7. I don't know that kind of newspapers, man. You know? And on page 7, the business chamber defends US Marine training. And a man called Kuran Singh, like he's the president of the San Fernando Greater Chamber of Commerce, and he is saying that it has no problem with that. The military exercise, he doesn't see it as though we are, have been compromised. All well and good. Well, on the same page, we see where the president of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, that is besides there has been protests against in Venezuela geared towards Kamla Persad Bisesa and the action that she have taken. Even if we in Trinidad, or some of us in Trinidad and Tobago, seeing nothing wrong with it, the people of Venezuela is saying and viewing Kamla Persad Bisesa, and by extension, Trinidad and Tobago as enemy number 2. It have enemy number 1, that is America, and they're viewing Kamla Persad Bisesa and Trinidad and Tobago as enemy number 2. What caused that, my friend? What caused them or Maduro to having that kind of view of Trinidad and Tobago? One that never existed before, my friend. Well, in this same article, hear what it says. These protests come as President Maduro, for the second time in days, so it's becoming regular, the second time in days, warned the TNT government of potential consequences for hosting U.S. forces for joint operations from November 16th to the 21st. Now, it is our right, as we have treaties, and it's our right as our sovereign country to hold those exercises. So those persons who are saying that they don't see anything wrong with it because they are willfully and deliberately trying to mislead the population. Because it's not ordinary exercises that is taking place. It is one where the prime minister of our country would have invited America without them making a request to use here as a base to bomb the Venezuelans. How we forgetting that part and leaving out that part? Every time you read something in newspaper about our sovereignty, as though nothing wrong with what is happening, we keep forgetting conveniently the part where our prime minister invited America, even the Guyanese president who was having a border dispute with Venezuela at the time was so shocked. He condemned and distanced himself and the country, Guyana, from the nonsense our prime minister was talking here. Now, imagine America have all these high power war machines. Not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, my friends, with atomic weapons to destroy Venezuela. And Venezuela in all of that is saying that there is consequences for us. We will face the consequences. This is what is in the newspapers here, What consequences President Maduro speaking about or could be speaking about? Trinidad and Tobago. This is what he is saying. There will be consequences. Now we know no gas deal taking place. But he gone beyond that. So the consequences he's speaking about Trinidad and Tobago is not, we're not getting gas and oil and deal and things from these people, He is speaking about something else. He is speaking about something else. Consequences, my friend, check the newspapers. Guardian, page 7. Yeah. Now, if as a country, persons have decided to come to try to damage your country, damage the lives of your people, killing them, murdering them, it is a thing called self-defense. Self-defense. He is within his right to defend himself against those persons who want to attack, who join an attack to eradicate himself and his people and his country. That is a right he have. And he had been making these claims over and over and over about Trinidad. You're not talking about America. In fact, when he dismissed Kamala Persad Bissessa, when the Venezuelans dismissed her and called up persona non grata, they then get vexed. Some of us in Trinidad here saying, well, look what Trump does be doing him and saying, why he doesn't do Donald Trump the same thing? Why he threaten America and threaten my friends? One of the things in war, as powerful as the enemy is, or if it's more than one, what you look at, you look for the weakest point and make assessment of your enemy and where you can hurt your enemies the most. Now, the kind of firepower America have surrounded Venezuela and the Southern Caribbean and have floating about in the sky, in the sea, under the sea, my friends. Isn't that Venezuela have some type of arm or ammunition, arms and firepower that could also respond to those things America have there in the ocean? Is it that Venezuela have something and nobody really telling us? But like America knows, is it? But that's not the real matter here, you know. What Maduro is saying here, is it that the things, the is it that the artillery and the firepower that Maduro have, the Venezuelans have in their possession, is it that while the bombs falling on Caracas and whatever other part of Venezuela, that they will now aim what they have at Trinidad and Tobago? Is it that is why they keep repeating on a daily basis so that the world would be made aware that of the warnings, and they've been speaking? Listen, we may not pay attention to what this man is saying. And when the thing is over, it is quite possible that Trinidad and Tobago may not be in existence as it is today. So while persons are dying, so what happening here now? America have to explain to the world, because they would be, and Kamala Prasad, if she survive, why and what cause? Yeah, because he not just Venezuela mash up in the process. So what is there in place to protect us, my friend? A few days ago, the former prime minister came and showed just one little scenario. Well, I and all get frightened people. If that doesn't get you as a citizen frightened and scared, well, we in Trinidad here, nothing can get you frightened. All he is saying is that if a real threat and it look as though a thing going to start, one of the first things is that the platform where we get our what that sustain us, our energy sector, will be shut down. First thing. And that is where we get our electricity from. Not food, you know. Our electricity. So your money in the bank, that you feel you have plenty money and you might survive, you might be able to buy food, you can't access your money in the bank because it has no electricity. So you see them people in Trinidad here who you look down on and look down upon as poor, you might have to come by them same people, and beg them. Yeah. Yeah. Those of us who think we are better than them. Yeah. This is what is happening, you know, my friends. Because if Maduro have to fight back to protect the lives of this 30 million Venezuelans, and the weakness in the American armory is Trinidad and Tobago. My friends, it is not by accident he is saying that it have consequences, you know. It is nice kind of diplomatic language that like somehow we can't understand that. This going beyond what I'm seeing here, going beyond the electricity going, you know. Yeah. Because if they decide they will not stop bombing here until America stop bombing them, what is going to happen? What is going to happen when they decide, and they will have all right to do it, because they have established internationally the illegality of it, the actions. Yeah, there's no basis for it. And on top of that, Trinidad and Tobago have joined, yeah, not to call for dialogue, but to invite America to come and use it as a base So how are we getting away from that? You cannot now turn around and try to tell the people that here will not be used. My friend, that ship sailed a long time ago. Yeah. Today's newspaper, Maduro, listen, the only campaign and the only kind of talk Maduro will be talking these days is about Kamala Persad Bissessa and her actions and putting the people of Trinidad and Tobago at risk and doing things without informing the people of Trinidad and Tobago and making deals secret. That kind of talk Maduro is speaking. Because as a good woman or a sensible person, my friends, no, I can't play chess, eh? I can't play chess at all. One time I was tempted to go and play chess. You know why? I'm a fairly okay draft player. I could play a bit of draft. I usually would fail. What these two games have is to be able to think and you must be able to see 2-3 moves ahead of your opponent. Chess and draft. But I am not going to try to compare draft with chess. People, I can't play chess, and the kind of importance they give to chess, I will not try to put draft in that category at all. What I could tell you is in both cases, what I observe is that it has to do with trying to outfuck, trying to outthink the person on the next side and make assessment of where the weaknesses appearing so that you can work on it. Yeah. And Trinidad and Tobago, my friends, rather than remain neutral, they cannot now pretend. Yeah. They had many opportunities, rejected all for self. Sickness, my friends, to be important in the world, People know me. Even if they know me as a fool, even if they know me as a dunce, they will know me. Even if they know me, you see, there are people who know me. Even if they don't know me, they will, even if they have to know me as a dunce and a fool, they will know me. So I will go to the United Nations, even if it means I have to lie to these war people who know about war, that I fight in fire with fire. The British, who was at the United Nations, they are aware that the boats that we built, that they built for us, was sold to Brazil. The thing that was supposed to come here to fight fire with fire, the same person who went to the United Nations with even the British representative in that meeting, standing up and telling them that we fighting fire with fire. So they want to know, will they get the firepower to fight fire with fire? Because the last of the thing that we had here, hardware, they cancel it and Brazil buy it. That wasn't enough for the United Nations. They gone in our next conference with the people who buy the boat and them, and the fast boat and the gunship, and who bought them when Trinidad and Tobago rejected them. Brazil, and making the same statement that we are putting things in place to protect and to guard and our borders and to fight. And these people they're watching this man and listening to him, knowing fully well that the assets that we had that was supposed to do exactly that, they have it. They're just going all over the world. Well, people, I'm back. I have some UNC partners, I know they thought they get rid of me, you know. So, right. That is the day. Now, I have some partners that always tell me, Preston, you live all your life without cell phone, talking and preaching against the cell phone. Why doesn't leave them cell phone alone? Like my UNC partners and them, eh? My friend, what happened? I don't know what it is. Something came up on the phone there, I touch it, and the thing disappeared, it looked like, and I don't know what happened. But I am here, so long as I did not disappear. Alright? Good. So I would pick back up where I left off. What I was saying is that the president of the Greater Chamber, San Fernando, said he saw no issue with the exercises that are taking place between America and the TNT. And as many of those persons would have said, forgetting and ignoring the fact that our Prime Minister would have invited America to come and use Trinidad and Tobago as a place where they could launch attack against Venezuela when the dispute appeared to be taking place between Venezuela and Guyana. The Guyanese president at the time condemned our Prime Minister because she would have taken it upon herself without even contacting him, asking him how things going, how you treating with this, how can I help. She just wake up a morning with the nonsense in she head, the dunceness, my friends, and invited America. So whether it's just normal exercises or not, at this present time, the Venezuelans are viewing Trinidad and Tobago as enemy number 2. And as I said before, the Venezuelan president, my friends, on many occasions, whenever you pick up our local newspapers, the only thing and only person he's speaking about is Kamla Persad Bissessa, the betrayal of CARICOM, the betrayal of the zone of peace, the betrayal of the people of Trinidad and Tobago, the betrayal of the friendship between Trinidad and Tobago and Venezuela. And then in today's newspapers, he said that there will be consequences. Meaning, now we know the consequences that have taken place where he have the framework that there is in place for fair trade and to do business with Venezuela has been closed off. But then in today's paper, he said that there will be consequences for Trinidad and Tobago. And I said before, is there something that America and the world is not telling the people of Trinidad and Tobago that Venezuela apparently have? Because for all that type of firepower to be in our region around Venezuela, my friends, it cannot be that Venezuela is a place that is unarmed. Cannot be. And whatever arms they have, it could be devastating. Could be. And this, you can gather that from the type and the amount of firepower America is approaching this situation with. Now, if Venezuela really have that kind of firepower and access to that kind of firepower, that America and is forcing America to bring that kind of firepower that they have in the Southern Caribbean here, what is Trinidad and Tobago position when the bombs or the attacks start on the people of Venezuela, my friends? What would be our position? How, if the consequences that Maduro is speaking about, because if you have a prime minister in Trinidad and Tobago who is willing to eradicate Maduro and the people of Venezuela, meaning bombing and killing them without just cause. These people never do us anything. They never ill speak us. They never try to do us anything at all. Yeah? And you have decided to make Trinidad and Tobago an enemy of the people of Venezuela, our nearest neighbor, not even Tobago close like them. So they have a right to defend themselves. And we cannot then tell them how to go about defending themselves. So if they believe that Trinidad and Tobago is little America, as we just sometimes declare ourselves, and even in this matter, little America, then he's saying there are consequences. And it is quite possible. I said, Dr. Rowley talked about just the current alone going. That is without any bomb falling in Trinidad and Tobago or any threat to Trinidad and Tobago, you know. Just the war, the zone, if it erupts into any kind of war or appears as though it is imminent, then these companies will remove their workers on this platform for their own well-being and the safety, so that they could go home to their family. They didn't come in this region here for that. And then nobody to ensure that the energy, our energy sector, remain up and running, which not our life depend on it. But what you saying here, a simple thing as Tech need those platforms to be operating so that we could get current in our house. Now, in another newspapers, I would have seen where Dr. Rudal Munilal is attempting to criticize the actions of the former Prime Minister in his conference. But he is speaking about all kind of foolishness, all kind of nonsense, rather than address the things, the important information that the former Prime Minister would have shared with us. For the first time, nobody in this country has ever shared any such information with us. And as though they think that the Prime Minister, former Prime Minister, should remain quiet so that we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, would now know that them know. So he's letting us know. You see the people who play the fool with our lives? They well know that the very current to have the water pump pumping so that water could reach us wherever we are, in our homes or wherever, in our schools, in the prisons, in the police station. The pump for the water, the electricity, come from Tech. And just the threat of war, those pumps will not work because Tech cannot get the natural gas that is needed to function. Now, and I am sure when Maduro in this newspaper said that there are consequences, I am sure he was not speaking about that. He wasn't speaking about that, my friends, because in an attempt to secure the lives of these innocent Venezuelans, he has the right to fight the enemy as he sees fit, you know, because it is an unprovoked attack on the people of Venezuela, supported by the Prime Minister and the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And I say the people of Trinidad and Tobago because there's no protests going on anywhere. So the world will view as though the people of Trinidad and Tobago is in agreement with the government and the action that they're taking, you know. Where is the protest going on, or people, where? So that the world could see. Where? Nowhere. So the impression is that all of us is in it together with the dunce ones and them. I go and get a big Venezuelan flag and put on my house there, you know. Yeah? Let them know I'm not with them. I am not with them with the dunceness. Yeah. That is what is happening. And imagine, while we enjoying or we you know, watch the news in the night, but the bomb that be falling from in the Gaza, you see Iran bombing, Hezbollah bombing, selling missiles, and we just watch that news. Yeah, as though that is a show. Yeah. What is going to happen to our country when, as the bombs fall in Venezuela, and the Venezuelans tacticians would say, okay, if we engage the Americans direct, we may not fare well, because we may not be able to match them. But if you look at where they are weakest, the most, their weakest point, my friends, is being an ally or we being an ally to America in this unlawful fight that may start a war that's going to break out, my friends. Yeah. And then, if there's no electricity, then all groceries have to close up. People can't get no food. The cash register cannot function. Huh? The police, he can't get no food to eat. It ain't no current by he. Because Tiantec shut down. The prison. So prisoners in prison, without food, without electricity, and on top of that, the firepower of the Venezuelans is not aimed at the warships that may have missile to cut off and to shoot down whatever they want to shoot at them, but to Trinidad and Tobago. So the reason I'm bringing this scenario, my friends, this is a real scenario that those in charge doesn't want us to even think about. We must be living and operating as though we, you know, Alice in Wonderland. Well, that, my friends, you see them dunce people who will be following them? That's for them. That, you know, when Eric Williams, Dr. Eric Williams, you know, he said that education is the key, and he went about putting things in place so that the people of Trinidad and Tobago could be a developed people, could be an educated people to match whatever we may face, as small as we are, internationally. Yeah. Well, we had two sides of the thing, because we saw for years how the PNM would have operated with our neighbors and engage global politics and how we treat with matters internationally, including the United Nations. And then we have the next group. You want to know if they went to the same school. You want to know what school they went to. Yeah. Now we have to check to see if the certificate and the thing that they have is because you can't understand how they could go to the same, read the same books, read the same, do the same studies, and dunce like that. Dunce. Trinidad and Tobago, in the recent war between Israel and Iran, what caused the war to stop? When Israel thought, you know what, Iran is the one who's supplying Hezbollah and through Hezbollah, Hamas and wherever. So you know what, and America decided that we're going to join and we go bomb and blow up some nuclear plant in Iran. Iran had enough missiles and the quality of missiles that would go through what is known as the dome, the protective dome. They have a shield in Israel, that it was reaching and killing the Israelites. Iranian was dying, you know, but Iran had missiles that would reach Israel, and not just reach Israel, fall in the cities where the citizens operating and living on a daily basis. And then the same America had to intervene to try and stop all of a sudden that war from escalating, because they realized what Iran have would cause great harm to their allies, which is Israel. So you think Maduro ain't know and you don't understand what I'm speaking about?
So if the only way to make America turn away and turn back, with all that firepower they have, my friends, we'll make sure and destroy Trinidad. You see Trinidad and Tobago? That is the price. That is the price, my friends, to end the war, if at all it's gonna start. The Prime Minister, former Prime Minister, he didn't went this far. He didn't go this far. Yeah. Because they are sure, he didn't even go that far and they call it, say, treason. Yeah. As though he exposing we. He exposing we. He ain't exposing us, my friends. The only fools in this country who doesn't know what he's speaking about is those in power and authority. All who involved in war and warfare in this region are aware of that. It's everything called make an assessment of who and what you're coming up against. Yeah. So they could have what submarine, what nuclear what. You bomb in here, and we will bomb Trinidad and Tobago. That is besides that no electricity, eh? Yeah. Yeah. Is it that we would call that fair game? Can we call what I'm speaking about fair game? How would the United Nations view the actions of Maduro? Because for weeks, my friends, for weeks he have been building a case. He have been building a case, even declaring that Trinidad and Tobago, the land that is Trinidad and Tobago, is being used as a aircraft carrier, my friends. The language that he's using. You see how Donald Trump saying it have narco traffickers and that kind of justify he to bring them worship, and then when like that not enough, he say Maduro opening the jail and sending all them prisoners in America. I don't know if Maduro gave them visa and tell them go America, I don't know. But he's saying that Venezuela opening the prison and filling up America with Venezuelan prisoners. Or ever anything like that? You ever hear anything like that in your whole life? And that is the justification, my friends, that he has put forward, and our Prime Minister is in support of, to get rid of the elected president and government of Venezuela that the United Nations declare and recognize as the legitimate government of Venezuela, my friends. So now I am asking this question because according to Kamla Persad-Bissessar, deliberately and conveniently, here is not a zone of peace. I am not, because when she signed it first, it had drug trafficking, it had killing because of drug trade. Why she went and sign it? If she know, my friends, she conveniently pretending, with she dunceness, you know, playing smart with foolishness. That's a classic case. A classic case of our dunce Prime Minister playing smart with foolishness, my friends. Yeah. It have, my friends, there's another article in this paper where the PSA president, a lady called Felicia Thomas, well, the PSA president slash politician, UNC politician, maybe a advisor to the cabinet. I don't know, I'll give you some more title, you know. Against the title. Yeah, maybe I don't know if I have any other can help me with some. But she now spokesperson for the UNC government. Yeah, that's what she was. She now is blaming the CPO because the CPO told her to come and let us meet on the 21st so that I will give you a lesson. I will now school you on matters of the state of the economy. She's too big to learn. She's too big to be schooled by the CPO. So she come crying to the public and the members, yes, trying to blame the CPO for her failure and for assisting with the lies that was told, my friends. And she said she don't need to go to that meeting because she already know what the state of the economy is. So all we need to do is put the 10% and let me deal with the 10%. So she knew, what she admitted there is that she knew what the state of the economy is that caused all these workers to be sent home and still lie to the people, telling them that the negotiation will start at 10%, my friends. There was a question I keep asking public servants, and that question I will ask again today. Is Felicia Thomas and Leroy Baptiste smarter than the teachers in this country? Who would have made a proper assessment of our economic climate, one that would have left and leave persons in their jobs and get an opportunity again to negotiate, starting from a 5% beside the 2 and 2. So the 5 and the 2 and 2 make it 9. Yeah. And the teachers, the defense force, the police, the fire service, the prisons, the amalgamated workers, and 1 or 2 other unions, after making an assessment, they say, this is what we have to work with, when they saw the state and understood the state of the economy. Now, the CPO is calling her in to give her a lesson, and as though she don't want to go. Yeah. And she is now, my friends, she is now quarreling with the government. Nice weather, you know. A bit of rain sprinkling here, my friends. She is now quarreling with the government because persons have been fired by the Housing Development Corporation, fired, and over 140 workers have been fired, and she had no problem with it, except now there are PSA members, according to the newspaper report, have also been fired by the AGC. And being part of the government, I mean, nobody couldn't call her and tell her, hey, we will have to fire some of your members. What kind of government is that? That lady campaigned the loudest and the most for the government, yeah, so that we could vote out the government, my friend. And her members working for and on behalf of the people in the AGC, the Housing Development Corporation, have been fired. And one of the things that she said is that she's in shock. My friends, she said that she's in shock. Now, if persons know me, there's 2 things I like: rain and mango. It so happened I under a mango tree, and I'll be just coming and people are enjoying this thing, you know. It didn't come in too heavy. Yeah. You know? This is real happiness here. Yeah. Our PSA president, her government that she was on the platform with, in fact, a man called Leroy Baptiste, the president who was there with her campaigning, is now the Minister of Labor. And is it that Leroy Baptiste didn't tell her that maybe about 40 of our members or more, or 30 or whatever, in the 140 will be fired. What kind of people are these? Trinidad and Tobago, that she now is asking for a meeting with the AGC to see if she could get these workers, that is her members, reinstated. But what about the rest of the workers? And they people with family and how you don't care about the CPEP, the URP? That is the government that you would have helped to foster on the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah. Workers in this country, in the first 3 months, over 30,000 workers were sent home. Yeah. And in 6 months' time, over, my friends, I saw where they're saying 75, I don't want to say that. To me, I put out about 55,000 workers in this country who was employed. A conservative figure, my friend. A conservative number. Who was employed before the UNC came into office. The previous government would ensure and spend the money, whatever little money it had, to ensure the people was able to go to work, get a salary on time, even during a pandemic and a recession. No pandemic, no recession, even PSA members are now being dismissed from the jobs, my friends. How Felicia Thomas is feeling. And you know, if I am not mistaken, I would have seen a video, my friends, where Felicia Thomas was actually talking to the agency workers and telling them that the PNM, Dr. Rowley led PNM, is going to fire them. My friends, I stand corrected, eh? But I think I would have seen such a video where would have come up on the social media, I stand corrected, where she was warning, yeah, warning the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and particularly the workers at the AGC, that the PNM is coming for you. The PNM is coming for you. That is the same people who would have had their jobs during the pandemic and the recession, you know. But the PNM is coming for you. I think, as I said, we had to blame Dr. Rowley for everything here, you know. He and the PNM, you know. Yeah. Blame Dr. Rowley for the dunce Prime Minister we have. Blame Dr. Rowley for the high crime rate, even after the PNM leave the office. Blame him for that. Every time you pick up the papers, my friends, every morning, whole day on the social media, well, when you watch Ian Allen, it's only crime and murder and kidnapping and stabbing and shooting. And the police commissioner is angry with the social media because the social media is given a false perception. It is not in the social media, it's not reporting the record that we have. You see our record? This is what it's supposed to be talking about. Hey, look the record here. But don't report the crime that we actually seeing and witnessing. The grabbing of the phone, the rafting of people in the cities, the snatching, no. Yeah, the physical attack that has been witnessed. Don't. Yeah. Trinidad and Tobago, all I am asking is, can we point to anything positive since this government came into office? Anything. You know, my friends, I have a suggestion. We, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, should not allow no one, no government, to unilaterally interfere with our carnival yeah, interfere with our carnival or our culture, yeah, without our permission. It is not a government thing. It doesn't belong to Kamla. It doesn't belong to Rowley. It doesn't belong to no government. That is the people that was born from the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and they must be consulted. If it needs to be tweaked, little changes and adjustments supposed to be made. No one is supposed to force their nastiness and their dictatorship on the people of Trinidad and Tobago like that. So, one of the things, my friends, one of the ways we could deal with this is because let me tell you this, they have the monies that belong to the state in the state company, NGC, for years, even during the recession and the pandemic. They would, knowing the importance of the culture, including the steel pan, our national instrument, there was sponsorship for that, my friends, from the junior at all levels to ensure continuity. So it's called giving back to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. When they came in office, one of the first things NGC did, rather than find ways to improve our energy sector, they cut the sponsorship of these steel bands, my friends, school steel band, and all them steel band, and wherever steel band. This is a direct attack, my friends, on the people of Trinidad and Tobago, particularly the people of African descent, and what their expression is and what their contribution is to Trinidad and Tobago, my friends. So you know what? If the people who are the promoters believe that they could try to continue to satisfy somebody in this country, let them go ahead and let them alone be in effect. And you see the steel pan, every child, every parent, as much as we love our national instrument, we know junior steel band, let it, even if it go for 2 years, yeah, even if it go for 2 years, my friends, and at the end of the 3rd year, we will keep a Cambole again. We will keep a Cambole, yeah, because we will be getting rid of the oppressors, my friends. They must not be allowed to impose their nastiness, their racist and wicked intentions on the people of Trinidad and Tobago. It must not be allowed. So the people of Trinidad and Tobago, my friends, will boycott, yeah, and let the world, let them know that we will not be taking that. Yeah. 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 Noise. My friend, it's not no noise. When they realize, is what happened. This, when I go to sleep tonight, I wonder what I will do tomorrow. Yeah. There's no real policy, it's just wickedness. Yeah. When they realize that the only stadium where it's only a Guti and Maniku and deer running around, there's no house around there. They ban the soccer and the art and the culture. Eh? It have no, Trinidad and Tobago, go and see where the Taruba Stadium was built. It's forest. Yeah. Where the National Stadium and all that stadium is, the whole of Woodbrook. The oval, all about is eh? So if it's against the noise, it's really against the noise. Then the policy supposed to apply as a national policy. Oh, they want to come and play the carnival thing here? I'll ban it. Then they realize, hey, no boy, but look at our houses. So I have to ban down there too. But I will ban it for only a few days. So the 2 days that they're going to have mass in the stadium, it wouldn't disturb the neighborhood, the people in Woodbrook the same way. So 2 days good, but not the season. Or that the 2 days for a certain class. My friends, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, we should boycott carnival. If we really want back the carnival, if we want back our carnival, my friends, we will not go along. We will not go along with what is I don't know what is this. My friends, this is not a representation of what our carnival is. It's not a representative of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. It is not a representative of where it was birthed and how it was birthed, my friends. It come like telling us, you know what, we will celebrate Diwali, but we wouldn't light the deer. That's what they're telling us, you know. Trinidad and Tobago, what they have done to us, and as though we're happy with it. We will celebrate Diwali this year, but we will not be lighting the dias. You could tell them Hindu people them that. You could tell them devil people in this country that. Trinidad and Tobago. Can you imagine telling them, listen, because a deer would have burned down a house. Somebody leave a deer unattended, and it burned down a house, and it burned down a next house. So like the deer burning down houses. So we will celebrate Diwali, light over darkness, but we will celebrate it without deers. Yeah, without the light in the deer, we will celebrate Diwali. That is what they're trying to do to our carnival and our culture and the people of Trinidad and Tobago, my friends. This is suppression, oppression, and dictatorship, and evil that is taking place in our country and upon the land of the people, my friends. That is what is happening here. That is what is happening here. Yeah, and we can sacrifice. We can sacrifice to carnival. Let them keep the carnival and jump in the street with whatever kind of music them want. No Jew, because listen, the practice of the steel pan in the pan yard, it have been in the neighborhood, you know. It's whole night, and when carnival time coming, it get worse. So you have to ban that too. That is noise. Ban the steel ban, because when people practicing, people can't sleep in the neighborhood. It's disturbing, so that must be banned too. It must be banned. Because we, as the pan players, and the pan men, and the lovers of the pan, this is our land. Land of the, not land of the, let me tell you something, my friends. This is the land of the hummingbird, the calypso, and the steel pan, and the limbo. This is the land. This is the land. So we're going to allow this aspect of it to go, but we'll go along with the rest. Like we more stupid and like we more dotage than the people and them who are in charge of it. We more dunce than them. My friends, let them dictate for themselves. And the people of Trinidad and Tobago, we are not going any carnival fete. We postponing all. Who want to keep it? The promoters and them? Let them keep it. And let them alone go. Let them alone go. Yeah. So that wicked and nasty people. Yeah. They're telling us. Yeah. They're telling us that our music, our calypso, our steel band is not music, it's noise. Yeah. Well, the Diwali, you see the Dias, they just catch people curtain and burn down the house. Yeah, that has happened too. We can't afford our houses burning down, so we will celebrate Diwali, yeah, without the dia being lit. That is what they're telling us to do. Only dunceness, my friends. Yeah. So I'm looking forward, yeah, to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah. My friends, they're just my suggestion. Yeah. Nobody had to listen to that. How then? Let me tell you something. I'm Mr. Preston. Why you not be talking to? Let me tell you something, my friends. There are people who lived before me, was talking for me, you know, before I born, you know. There are people recorded, and the things that they were saying was speaking for me and on behalf of me before I was born, you know. So I am obligated to also speak for and on behalf of even those who ain't born yet. Because somebody and persons acted for and on my behalf. Persons. And only one woman started to call names here. You want to tell all you? So that is why I will speak. Yes. Because there are people, my friends. Listen, eh? There are people who have spoken. Yeah. And when I came around and read and even heard some for myself, what they were saying, and I was not even born yet. And it's I they were speaking for and on behalf, even though they were experiencing something in their time. The experiences that they have or was having, my friends. You know, they say what goes around comes around. Yeah. And it is coming around. Yeah. And we, as a people, have an obligation to those who have not yet arrived to stand up for them and to speak up for them and our children and their children. Yeah. In this country. This country belongs to all of us and must be treated fairly. Just look at what happened with the budget, my friends. They take all the money that is needed in communities, in corporations, where it is situated among the person of African descent, in the greater population and majority, my friends. They take away all the monies that is needed to care for those people and to have them employed. Racism. Racism. My friends, government-sponsored racism is what we're facing here. And the interfering and what is happening in a subtle way to our culture, though they like the thing and they want it better. My friend, not better. It's suppression and oppression, and I am in charge and I will dictate to you, pretending that they care about us, my friends. How dunce we could be. How dunce. You know, I just call them dunce. It's really we dunce, you know. I call it the wrong sort of people dunce. People, all I'm sorry, eh? I'm sorry, I apologize. I calling the wrong sort of people dunce, my friend. Calling the wrong sort of people dunce. Totish. Yeah. So Trinidad and Tobago. But I see the phone hold out this time. And my UNC partners and them want to see a 42 flag, eh? Right. Have a blessed morning. I want to thank you for allowing me this time to spend with you, even if it's a 20 minutes, half an hour, to share my thoughts with you and to try and make Trinidad and Tobago a better place for all of us. My friends, have a blessed day and thank you.